So it's No Simp September. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to 5-0-100-0.com. I am Fuck It! And that stands for the fittest underdog guru using intelligent tactics. Guys, so here's what happens, right? You get a little older and, think back, okay? If you're over 35, maybe 30, but if you're like me, mid-40s, okay? You think about whenever you were, like the music that resonates the most with you. Culture, sports, like if you follow baseball, world champions, watching these games, or if you were lucky enough that your local team was in a championship game, whatever it is, right? Your fondest memories tend to be your teens and maybe early mid-20s, okay? And you have a very strong recollection of that, of culture, of what was going on, etc. You get a little older, and those 30s and 40s and maybe 50s, it all starts to blur a little bit. And you're like, I don't know what the heck's been going on. I've been working, raising a kid, whatever, right? And then, if your kids are getting a little older and they're getting into like pop culture stuff, and you've got on your radio, you start to figure out, geez, I listen to some really old stuff, right? Or when the kids are doing something new, you're late to the bandwagon when you think it's the new cool thing and it's actually already outdated. Well, enter Fuck It! Now, what kind of an undersized underdog, a fit one at that, using intelligent tactics would I be if I did not address No Simp September, okay? So, full disclosure, I had to look it up. My son, who's almost 13, tried to school me on it, but clearly he didn't have a very clear, I guess, understanding of what it was. So I did a little research myself, and to boil it down, from my understanding, is that it's a guy that'll basically do anything for a girl that he's attracted to in an effort to get what he wants, right? To either make her his girlfriend, get sex, whatever it is, right? So I looked at that and I said, oh, and it took me down memory lane. Now, what I'm thinking about doing is this month, any uploads I do, I think I'm gonna talk about this No Simp September because I've got a lot to say about it. And I may have touched on it in other ways in videos, but I don't think I actually qualified or quantified it by this name. So I'm going to give you a personal story, and it's from about 5-6 years ago or so. And I was dating this girl who was really fit, into similar things I was, etc., what have you. So she was always getting attention from guys. And it never bothered me because I'm not generally the jealous type, okay? And if you give me a reason to be jealous, or if you start playing games, then it's time to walk away. So the thing is, with this story at least, this is an example of a simp. And it wasn't me that was the simp, but I'm sure those stories will come out as well in this month. But what happened was she had a brother, and her brother had a friend who was like super flashy, right? He wore expensive clothes, drove fancy cars, and always bragged about his business and how he's an entrepreneur. And he was one of these guys that just, when you see them, it takes you a little longer when you get older, but you start to see the holes in the story, right? I mean, I looked at him and I was like, yeah, this guy's a poser. He's just trying to, gain everyone's attention and act like a big shot, but he's probably just a shyster, right? He's a snake oil salesman. So he would go over to her whenever she was visiting her parents. He would be over there hanging out with his buddy. And these guys are like in their early 20s, okay? And he's, hitting on my girlfriend, telling her how beautiful she is. Why is she dating me? Why are you dating this old guy? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because I had my game on, and I knew how to attract and retain beautiful women by this point. I'm not bragging about it because you guys can do that too. Okay? Any guy can do it. You ever see guys that you just go, what the heck does that guy have that I don't? And he's got beautiful women, and he's maybe, 20 pounds overweight, sloppy, and he's got, this gorgeous girlfriend, or he always seems to have pretty girls chasing him. There's guys like that, right? They don't seem to take a lot of pride in their appearance, and, they constantly attract beautiful women. So the thing is, this guy was always just like, oh yeah, I've got a buddy who owns like a detail shop, and your car needs tints, get the windows all tinted. And she's like, well, yeah. And he goes, well, why isn't your boyfriend getting that for you? And she kind of defended me and was like, well, I never really asked him, we never talked about it, and it's my car, I should pay for it if I do it, right? Take notes. So he's like, well, if you were my girlfriend, you'd have tints and da 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 da. And he's like, in fact, why don't we go out sometime? I'll take you to lunch, and in exchange, I'll get you tints, right? I'll get your car detailed, washed, rims done, tints put on, everything, the works. And she's like, you know what? I'm faithful to my boyfriend. I'm not interested. Okay. And so she told me the story, and I kind of laughed, and I said, well, I appreciate that you're not going to lunch with him, or you said no, because I don't think you would appreciate if I went out with some girl that you knew was interested in me, just for a friend lunch, right? So she's like, yeah, and I said, well, why? So then I take the next step. I said, why don't you see, or she says to me, actually, let me, she goes, he also said, okay, fine, you don't have to go to lunch with me yet, but let me get your car detailed and get you the tints that your boyfriend won't get for you. So she goes, you mad? I said, no, I'm not mad. I said, let him do it. I said, he's an idiot. And she goes, well, yeah. She goes, I think he just wants to be like, show off his money and stuff. And I said, no, he's thinking that's going to win you over. So as soon as you get those tints from him, he's going to ask you out again. And when you say no, he's going to get mad. He's going to lose his cool, and you're going to see, who he really is. He's not just a nice, generous, philanthropist trying to, do something nice for somebody. I said, he's got ulterior motives. And I said, he's already made it clear. So she's shocked that I'm okay with this. But it created more attraction in her mind because it showed my confidence in me. And then I wasn't threatened by this guy doing something nice for her. And I was going to prove my point. So sure enough, she comes over, her car's detailed, loaded, blah, blah, blah. She's giving me all the details. I dropped it off to her. Thank you so much. Yeah, call me sometime, blah, blah, blah. I figured, okay, it's going to be, somewhere around a week or two, maybe a little longer if he keeps his cool. And, he'll start to ask her out. Not even 2 days. How do you like the tints? He calls her, he's texting her. How do you like the tints? And these texts started coming through when we were shopping. And so she's showing me the text. And I'm just smiling. I said, here it comes. She goes, no. I said, yep, watch. So he goes, well, you turned me down before, but now since I did that for you, why don't we go out and have lunch, or just coffee, just as friends. She goes, nah, you know what, I told you, I have a boyfriend, I don't think he'd appreciate that. And then that's when he lost it, and that's when the little mask came off and he showed his true colors. So then he lost it, and he's like, I don't know what's up with you using me to get tints and all of that. I had to pay out of my pocket for that. It was $400, $500, whatever it was. And I'm like, there it is. He's losing his shit, right? I just laughed, and she's like, well, I told you I had a boyfriend and I was loyal, and, you know, you said you were fine with it, but you're not. That's kind of crappy of you. And he continued and on and on and on to try to, you know, make her feel bad about what he did for her and that she needs to go out with him. So I said, you know what? I said, let me call him and talk to him. So I called from her phone. And so he picks it up, and I was like, look, dude, I said, you know what? If you're dumb enough to get this girl that's in a relationship tints, and she already told you she's not interested, then you need to back off. And he's like, you know, tripping over his words. He didn't know what to say because I think it took him by surprise. And I said, this is the last time you're going to talk to her, right? Yeah. I said, okay. I said, take care. Bye. And that was that. So the thing is, guys, is that mentality, that simp mentality, comes from a place of insecurity, right? Needing to prove yourself and thinking that you're not enough, so you're going to buy someone's affection, right? Or their attention. And women see through that. You know, they see when a guy is doing all these things, they're not impressed by that unless they're gold diggers, right? They see it as weakness because you're not doing it because you're in a relationship with her or because, you know, she's your wife, your like long-term girlfriend, whatever. You're doing it in an effort to attract her. She hasn't given you any reasons to believe she's interested. So why would you do all this stuff? They're not dumb, okay? And regardless of what, you know, my girlfriend told me at the time, she knew this guy was interested. I mean, he made it plain as day, but I don't know if she necessarily bought that bill of goods that he was just doing it out of the kindness of his heart or not. Something tells me she didn't necessarily believe that. But, you know, when I gave her the go-ahead run green light, you know, take advantage of it. I'm going to prove a point to you about guys. And she did it. You know what? She got tints out of it. I saved $500. And, you know, a conversation about, you know, why getting tints is pretty much something that I see as a waste of money at that time. But, you know, it is what it is. So, hope you guys like that story. Hopefully it helped you. Like, share, subscribe. I'll be back with another simp story. Maybe about myself. Maybe personal stories. I don't know. Right? The male boyfriend. The male friend phenomenon. There's so much to say about this. This should be a book. Alright, guys. Enjoy your day. Don't be a simp. It's September. Make it a September to remember.